Hello again, everyone. The safety of children is a universal value that transcends political lines, yet the intersection of political power and crimes against minors reveals a disturbing pattern of exploitation and disparity. As the United States grapples with high-profile cases of sexual misconduct involving elected officials, it has become increasingly necessary to examine the data regarding the political affiliations of those charged and convicted. Educational analysis of available statistics and case studies suggest a significant imbalance, with Republican affiliated individuals facing charges or convictions for child sex crimes at rates significantly higher than their Democratic counterparts. Furthermore, the power dynamics inherent in political office often facilitate the exploitation of minors both domestically and through international channels. While comprehensive nationwide data specifically tracking the voter registration of every convicted sex offender is not maintained by government agencies, independent analysis of criminal misconduct in politics reveal a stark trend. When examining elected officials, unelected officials, political staffers, and party-affiliated individuals, data indicates that Republican-affiliated individuals have been charged or convicted in significantly higher numbers for child sex crimes than Democrat-affiliated individuals. In some scopes and timeframes, this ratio has been observed to be 3.1 or higher. This disparity is visible in recent high-profile cases. For instance, we talked about State Rep. R.J. May, the Republican from South Carolina that was suspended from the State House in 2025 following an indictment on charges related to child sexual abuse material. Similarly, a review of noteworthy criminal misconduct in American politics consistently highlight a prevalence of Republican figures facing charges for sexual offenses involving minors. The trend is not limited to recent years. A historical review of federal political sex scandals and criminal convictions shows a recurring pattern of Republican officials involved in the sexual abuse of minors. This includes figures such as former Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert, who admitted to sexually abusing boys while he worked as a high school wrestling coach, and former Representative Mel Reynolds, which was Democrat, who resigned after the conviction of statutory rape. While both parties have had offenders, the volume and severity of the cases involving Republican officials in positions of high authority draw significant concern. Political power provides predators with unique tools to exploit children, often shielding them from the consequences that a private citizen would face. The influence, financial resources, and social capital associated with public office can be weaponized to silence victims and intimidate witnesses. A prime example of this is the case of Jim Jordan, a Republican U.S. representative from Ohio. Jordan has been accused of failing to report and actively covering up the sexual abuse of minors while he served as an assistant coach for the Ohio State University wrestling team from 1987 to 1995. According to former team members, the team physician abused multiple victims during Jordan's tenure, and Jordan was alleged to have repeatedly crying and begging one individual not to corroborate accounts of the abuse. This case illustrates how individuals in position of authority, even before reaching federal office, may use their influence to obstruct justice and protect abusers. Furthermore, the justice system itself can be leveraged by those with power. Dennis Hastert, we talked about him in, I think, the last video, once second in line to the presidency, pleaded guilty in 2015 to structuring bank withdrawals to conceal misconduct. The funds were reportedly being used to pay hush money to a victim he had abused decades prior. This demonstrates how financial resources, often accessible or retained through political networks, are used to manipulate the legal system and keep crimes against children hidden. On American soil, the exploitation of children by political figures often occurs through the direct abuse of trust. Elected officials frequently interact with youth groups, internships, and campaign volunteers, creating environments where grooming can occur unchecked. In the case of Representative Mark Foley, a Republican U.S. representative from Florida, we discussed him, I believe, highlights this vulnerability. Foley resigned in 2006 after he was revealed he sent sexually explicit emails to underage male congressional pages, minors serving in the Capitol. The institutional failure to address Foley's behavior promptly, despite rumors circulating within the House, suggests a culture of protecting political assets at the expense of the safety of minors entrusted to their care. Moreover, research into voter behavior suggests that partisanship can blind constituents to the moral failings of their leaders. Studies have shown that shared partisanship trumps other considerations when individuals evaluate candidates accused of sexual abuse or harassment. Respondents in these studies often considered that the candidate had questionable morals, but was still better than any candidate from the other party on the ticket. This cognitive dissonance allows predators to maintain power, as voters prioritize political loyalty over the safety of children. The exploitation of children by politically connected individuals is not confined to the U.S. borders. It extends to international sex tourism and trafficking networks. The financial independence and global mobility afforded to wealthy politicians and donors facilitate the abuse of children in foreign jurisdictions where oversight may be lax. While specific statistics on political sex tourism are difficult to obtain due to the covert nature of these crimes, high-profile cases provide a window into the problem. Donald Buzz Lukens, we've discussed him already, a Republican U.S. representative from Ohio, was found guilty of having sex with a minor. Although his primary conviction involved a domestic case, the connection between political figures and international exploitation is often linked through broader networks. For example, the involvement of political elites in the operations of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who operated an international sex trafficking ring, has raised alarm about the global reach of political predation. We're going to get to some of the Epstein stuff too eventually. Epstein's network, which included interactions with high-profile figures across the political spectrum, allegedly involved the transportation of minors across international lines for sexual abuse. The Justice Department's confirmation in May 2025 that former President Donald Trump was mentioned by name multiple times in the Epstein files, despite previous claims that such files did not exist, underscores the difficulty in holding powerful figures accountable for crimes committed overseas or within elite circles. And yes, I am very aware that Donald Trump is president currently. I'm speaking as the former president from his last term. The ability to charter private jets and access secluded estates allows these individuals to operate outside the reach of standard law enforcement scrutiny, exploiting children in foreign lands with impunity. The evidence suggests a disproportionate number of Republican-affiliated officials and supporters have been implicated in crimes against children compared to their Democratic counterparts. This imbalance, combined with the immense power these individuals wield, creates a systemic risk for the safety of minors. From the halls of Congress to state houses and international destinations, the exploitation of children is facilitated by a culture of silence, financial manipulation, and partisan defense. Addressing this crisis requires a nonpartisan commitment to transparency and zero tolerance. The mechanisms that allow powerful figures to evade justice, whether through hush money payouts, the silencing of subordinates, or the protection of party leadership, must be dismantled. Protecting the nation's youth demands that we prioritize the safety of children over political expediency, ensuring that no office, title, or party affiliation serves as a shield for those who prey on the vulnerable. The next video, I'm going to cover a little bit of the tactics on silencing and a few of the, different things like the get out of jail for free cards and stuff like that. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I would really like to grow this channel some more. Have a blessed day, everybody.